All right, good evening, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order. This is November 16th, Harahan Council meeting. Madam Clerk, pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Councilman Asbill.
Present.
Councilman Buddy.
Present.
Councilman Chatelain.
Present.
Councilman Johnston.
Present.
Councilman Ricks.
Present.
Mayor Bodier.
Present.
Police Chief LaPree.
He's absent.
Absent. Fire Chief St. Cyr, absent. Finance Director Todd Turnion.
Present.
City Attorney Scott Stansberry. Municipal Clerk Kerry Hustis, absent. I, Sheree Johnson, am filling in for the clerk tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Cherie. Thank you for filling in. Our clerk
Mayor's
is,
announcements.
our clerk has been not feeling that well, so she couldn't make it tonight, and so we have Cherie filling in, so thank you very much for that. She's awesome.
Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you,
Don't really have any real announcements tonight, other than, thank goodness, we got some rain, and we should have some beautiful weather for Thanksgiving. We'll move on to the agenda. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the minutes for the council meeting October 19, 2023?
Move to dispense with the reading of the minutes.
So I have a motion by Councilman Asbill to move to dispense with the reading of the minutes. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth, we'll now close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
Who's second?
I'm sorry, I need a second. You're right.
I'll second.
Councilman Chatelain, second. So Councilman Asbill made the motion. Councilman Chatelain, second, to dispense with the reading of minutes. 5 yeas, 0 nays.
Approval of the minutes of the council meeting on October 19, 2023.
Move to approve.
No.
So we have a motion.
I think we need to do a typographical correction on page 2. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th, 7th line from the bottom. It has to do with a 2-to-2 vote on amending an ordinance. And it says, Mayor Bodier broke the tie and decided not to defer but to call for the vote. I think what happened, if I remember, is it was a 2-to-2 vote and we decided the mayor could not vote. So since the amendment failed, then we went on and voted. Does that ring a bell, or is it just me?
That's the way it is. The mayor can't vote.
Yeah, so I think, Sheree and I can get with you later, but where it says Mayor Bodier broke the tie and decided not to defer but to call for the vote, I think we need to say that the amendment failed, and then we call for a vote on the ordinance, and the ordinance passed.
I make a motion, second on the amendment.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Buddy to amend the council meetings for October 19, 2023, reading.
It was regarding ordinance 2023-20, and we want to correct the line we want to delete the line that says Mayor Bodier broke the tie and decided not to defer but to call for the vote, and we want to replace it with,
Ordinance.
That's how I remember
It
the
failed.
events.
I thought he couldn't.
He
do it.
can't.
So it failed.
He did,
So it failed.
right.
So all I want to say is that the motion to amend failed.
Right.
And the council.
Motion to defer.
Right.
Yeah. The motion to defer failed, but we voted on it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Buddy. We'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on that motion? No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. Do I have a second?
I second.
We have a second by Councilman Johnson to amend the minutes for October 19, 2023. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yay. Abstain.
4 yeas, 1 abstention.
Who abstained?
Councilman Asbill?
I'm not going to ask the reason, but
And then, okay.
I'll tell you the reason, just because although we may have decided that he can't vote afterwards, that's how the vote went during the meeting.
It went what?
what? He didn't vote.
He did.
No,
Well, he did, but we decided it was invalid.
No, he didn't. Mayor, you didn't vote. I don't remember you voting.
The reason doesn't matter, it passed.
That's fine.
I don't remember him voting.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you.
But it says the mayor decided not to defer. I don't
He did not
remember, I don't remember how you voted, Tim.
I don't remember you voting.
He,
I do remember discussion, but I don't remember if
Yeah, I'm with you. Because I know I did push to not defer. It was up to me to push to not defer.
He did.
And the 2-2 tie, but yeah, I think I'm
so,
with you.
So we can leave that line in, Councilman Asbill, and just add below it, the mayor can't vote. So it was a tie and it wasn't deferred.
Is it true that the mayor can't vote?
No, we can't. I told you that before.
Okay.
I don't
Even
know
when it
either.
comes to breaking a tie?
I don't know either.
Oh, okay.
What's that, sir?
Only on a resolution.
That's what I thought we decided.
Okay, cool.
Anyway,
All right, so-
it's just a clerical correction. It doesn't affect the outcome of the vote.
Okay, so now we have a motion by Councilman Buddy to approve those minutes as amended. We'll now open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. All in favor to approve the amendments as amended?
Yay.
Yeah.
5 yeas? Yeah, 5 yeas, 0 nays. Minutes are approved as amended.
Communications, none. Resolutions, none. Ordinance for approval, proposed ordinance number 2023-25. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Johnston and second by Councilman
I'll second.
Eric,
Chatelain?
Councilman Chatelain. An ordinance to place no parking signs along the 100 block of Oak Avenue.
Okay, we'll now open for public hearing. Anyone want to come speak on ordinance number 2023-25? Please come to the podium. No one coming forward. We'll close public hearing, and we'll move to council discussion.
Councilman Chatelain is both sides of the street, I assume?
Councilman
This is-
Johnson's,
Oh, I'm
We-
sorry.
We definitely, because if you go down there from Rowdy to the River Road,
Yeah.
it goes into 2 lanes.
Right. No, I'm good with it. I
Yeah.
just wanted to
Yeah,
clarify.
because
it's both
we
sides
gotta
of the
make sure,
street.
because what happened, they have a no parking to corner, but they're not paying attention to it, so we gotta put a few more signs
Yeah.
where they don't park there, because if you're forcing people to go to the middle of the, you know what I'm talking about, it could cause people to squeezing through and it could cause a wreck. So that's why we wanna put them on both sides.
Instead of doing the whole block, can we limit it from Roddy?
That's what we have plans of doing, limit to Rowdy to where the 2 lines are, where they
So-
turn.
so 100 block is that whole,
It's all the way to the bank.
Yeah, I know.
so we need to limit that just to the, we need to amend this
To the
ordinance.
Well,
intersection of
we can
Rowdy.
amend it from Rowdy, but on the right-hand side, we gotta kinda go further back, on the right only. But from Rowdy to the Rivers Road, we can just say both sides.
Because I
And
think
then,
the concern is those lots are small over there. They don't have a lot of
there ain't no
parking.
parking.
25-foot
Right,
lots allowed
right.
there.
And they
There ain't no parking. I agree.
kind of, you put them in a pickle if they can't park on the street.
I
And
agree.
I also understand that you need more room for the turning.
No, I agree with you.
So can we make a motion to amend this?
To what? I like the idea.
From Roddy to River Road.
Roddy to River Road.
That's fine.
Instead of saying
We
100
need to
block.
amend the Oak Street.
We just go Rowdy to the River Road.
So no parking signs to be placed on,
So I'd make a
On-
motion for an
on-
amendment.
yeah.
And-
Amend it
and-
from Rowdy to River Road.
And
On Oak
also,
Avenue-
let's do both sides of the street.
Yes,
Just
Yeah,
to
yeah,
That's what it was
because it's 2
intended.
turning lanes.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain to amend proposed ordinance number 2023-25. Instead of reading at the 100 block of Oak to now read from Roddy to the river
Rewrite.
to both sides of the street.
So section 1 is going to read, no parking signs to be placed on Oak Avenue from the intersection of Roddy Avenue to Riverside
River Road on
Drive.
both sides.
Yeah.
I'll second that. That's
Okay,
fine
we have a
with me.
second by Councilman Johnson. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. We have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, seconded by Councilman Asbill to
I
amend.
second it, but that's
Oh, I'm
okay.
sorry, seconded by Councilman
That's
Johnson
okay.
to amend. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Ordinance is amended. And now we're going to vote on the ordinance as amended. We have a motion by Councilman Johnson, second by Councilman Chatelain on the ordinance as amended. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. Now we'll close public hearing. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Proposed
Clerk?
ordinance number 2023-26. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and second by Councilman
I'll second.
Second. Oh, okay, whoever. Councilman Buddy.
Buddy.
Okay,
Hey, I'm in the council.
okay.
An ordinance amending ordinance number 1959, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023 for the Capital Project Fund of the City of Harahan, Louisiana, maintenance.
Okay, we'll open for a public hearing. Anyone who wants to discuss proposed ordinance number 2023-26? No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing? Council
Is this-
discussion?
Is this the skid steer?
Yes.
Was it bought under state contract?
Yes.
Okay. We usually put in the ordinances, and I'm just noticing that it's not in there, that it was, we started this when we did the fire truck under state contract, that there was so I don't have that language in front of me, but there should be a section, another section that says it was bought under state contract. All that to say, I think we all just got the newest version of the budget tonight, haven't really seen financials. I would like to defer all of these money ordinances to the special meeting when we start the budget hearings to consider all of that at once, because we really just haven't had, I haven't had a chance to review it. I don't know if
No,
anybody
I don't
else-
think anyone's had a
Anyone,
chance.
no one has.
So, I mean, I've got a money ordinance. I know we've got a couple of money ordinances here. I would just propose that we defer all of these to the budget hearing and consider them then.
The distinction is this money's already spent, so we're ratifying a decision that's already been made.
Yeah, well, that's a different issue, but, yeah.
I mean, it is a different issue, but this is going to get paid, probably has been paid already.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm good with not, with deferring anything to spend new money, for sure, until we figure out where we are with 2023, much less 2024.
Well, this money's been spent already. I think we just need to move on.
Okay, so you want to amend it? We want to amend adding the section to,
I think the finance director would appreciate if we added that section.
Yes.
okay?
I don't have it with me. I'll have
That's
to.
fine. That's what he wants to do. That's fine.
Okay, we'll get with the finance to add the direction, but just in theory, we'll add the words that was purchased under state contract?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Chatelain, to amend proposed ordinance 2023-26 to add the verbiage of being purchased under state contract. We'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. All in favor on adding state contract to the proposed ordinance? All in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Now, moving forward, voting on the ordinance as amended with adding state contract. We have an proposed by Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Buddy. We'll open for public hearing. If anyone wants to discuss it, no one coming forth, we'll close public hearing. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk.
Question. Carrie Reese's just texted. She said it's not live streaming. Is that something we need to do? Is that something?
That would be right there.
She's texting you now, Paul.
I re-plugged it in. See if that works. Everything I have looks good.
It's the clerk. She's homesick.
She's not getting it?
Trying to make sure we're.
She said it's not, yeah, she's trying to check on us.
Check it out.
Thank you, Carol.
Making sure it's getting done right.
We can use all the checking we can get.
She knows how we are.
This was bought in state contract. but-
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what we amended it to.
Okay, it just didn't say it in the ordinance. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a technical.
Is she going to let us know when she's in?
That cost us anything?
Still not working.
Let me ask her.
Lift station runs down to everybody.
Yes.
Now, how much you spending on
Oh, it was like 100
that? We need a grant for that?
it was 156,000. What was it?
Yeah.
I think they wanted 86. Not 9, only 8. We had to. We're shutting down. The
You had no
well-
choice.
The well was disintegrating, falling into the ground.
Yes.
Okay, because that she needs for her minutes.
Still going.
Thanks.
Is it,
She said it's not working.
are you looking? Are you looking?
Am I looking?
Are you having on?
No. No, Carrie said it's still not working.
What?
The stream, a live stream.
She's not getting a
She's
lot.
not getting anything, live stream.
Yeah, I asked if
That's got to be coming off.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised Debbie Wick is.
I know, but she gets the minutes off of that, so I wanted to make sure that was still
Okay.
going.
I couldn't tell you why. I'm just throwing a signal.
He's showing it. Could it be her?
I just told you checking.
Jason, can you jump on your phone and see if it's live streaming? And maybe it's just her?
Yeah. Help.
She says unplug and replug the cable. I think you did that already.
I'll do it again.
Surprised Debbie Wick has called me. You know Debbie Wick.
Huh?
Debbie Wicker's a Harahan citizen. She moved to Florida. She watches our meeting every month.
Oh, really? Wow.
She might be Texas, but she lives in Texas.
Can't see it.
No. Yeah, me neither. Okay, we're going to keep going. Okay. Madam Clerk, next ordinance?
Yep. Proposed ordinance number 2023-27. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain and second by Councilman,
Ricks.
an ordinance amending ordinance number 1959, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023, for the capital project fund of the City of Harahan, Louisiana, Sewer Lift Station 9 rehab.
Okay, we proposed ordinance number 2023-27 will now open for public hearing. On anyone coming forth? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
Todd, do we need an offsetting journal entry? This is a one-sided journal entry.
So I think in the capital project fund, we're okay to have kind of a one-legged entry.
Because we're just moving it from unallocated to allocated?
Right. We're just spending a portion of the unrestricted
Okay.
dollars that are in the
All right,
capital.
wasn't sure about that, thank you.
Just, this was emergency.
No,
repairs that
it's
had
not
to
that, it's just the
Okay,
accounting
no,
for
I
it.
understand.
Just the accounting for it, not the questioning the matter at all.
And just to be clear, the capital fund is restricted to council approval. So it's not unrestricted, it is restricted to council approval. We do have to approve.
But there's an unrestricted portion,
It's
and now
not
we're
allocated for a
restricting,
certain fund.
correct?
Certain-
Right.
Right, yeah, it's not allocated to a certain fund, but the funds in general are restricted to council approval.
Yes,
But is there an
Yes.
unrestricted portion? It's
Yes.
all-
It's all restricted. I
It's all
can't do anything with
restricted.
all
It's all
restricted unless it's an emergency.
There's a
there's
portion
an
of the.
go ahead,
So-
undesignated.
Right, so a portion of the capital project fund is self-restricted to the council and by the city. There's another large portion of the grant money that the mayor's brought in and other grants from the parish and the state, that's restricted by the donor, by the grantee.
Oh,
Okay, and then, but there's other funds, namely the video poker money that comes in and is transferred to the capital fund.
And that just basically goes right
It's undesignated.
Right,
So-
it's
so it's not
uncommitted
restricted
or-
to a particular, it's restricted to capital, but not
Correct.
restricted to a particular capital use.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Thank you
Paul, are
for
you
clearing it
texting
up.
Karen?
Mike, to be clear,
Clear as
the
mud.
council does have to approve,
Audio but not
Capital
video,
fund.
maybe?
Yes.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Just making sure.
But when we have an emergency,
Yeah. No, this was.
No, I understand this one.
well,
I
do we
get it.
have, I guess what I'm asking is when we have an emergency, like a sewer system backing up,
We should allow the mayor to operate within some reason,
okay.
And they have been
but
very,
but a skid steer is not an emergency.
they've been very
I get
generous.
it. Thank you.
They have been very generous with that.
And in fairness to everyone, if there's an emergency, we can call a special meeting, and we can meet and
Discuss it at least.
discuss it and pass it appropriately, and we will.
Right.
Right. Just to clarify what this money was for, lift station 9 was completely in disrepair. The well was collapsing into the pit. We couldn't stop infiltration coming in, and it was forcing an incredible amount of sand into the pit. And so as we started to pull the sand out of the pit, we didn't want it to refill it back up with sand, because to take the sand out of the main digester, it was about $100,000, and I certainly didn't want to throw good money at a bad project. So we wanted to make sure that we had it all right and logistically perfect to move it forward. So it was just a matter of fact of being wise and spending money and following a natural progression of doing the right thing in our efforts to overhaul the entire sewer system and the sewer plant. So
Mayor,
thank you,
was this
Councilman
spent-
Asbill, for your leniency.
Was this spent in correlation with a larger repair to lift station?
No, sir, this was actually what happens is when we started to repair lift station 8, you'll start to see now it's working properly, so it'll start to, it'll uncover other problems along the way.
Further
Once-
downstream?
That's correct. And once you make, or even coming in stream, once you start to repair something, you can't really tell what's in, when Lift Station 8 got completely repaired. But now we were still getting infiltration from fresh water and dirt, and so it was easier to see. And
Thank you for that explanation.
We just traced it.
Perfectly
It was-
clear.
It was a quick trace.
But just, going forward, if you would, when you make that decision, just let's call a
Absolutely.
special meeting,
Yes, sir.
and we'll handle it right up front or as quickly as possible.
Absolutely, yes, sir. All right, so anyone else, are we done discussing?
Move to approve.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Chatelain, second by, it says motion by Councilman Chatelain. We have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Ricks, to approve proposed ordinance number 2023-27. All in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Thank you.
Proposed ordinance number 2023-28. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and second by Councilman
Second.
Chatelain.
Or Rick's, whatever.
An ordinance to adopt the 2024 annual holiday calendar, which will be supersede ordinance 1361 relative to the section titled Holidays.
Okay, well, now for a public hearing, anyone want to speak on proposed ordinance number 2023-28, please come forward. No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
We added a 14th holiday last year.
We did. And we're still at 14.
Yes, we're still at 14, but I voted against it last year, and I still think it's excessive. I don't know of any other organization that has 14 paid holidays.
Jefferson.
Was that Juneteenth?
Jefferson
We
Parish.
added a state holiday.
Every other government
Juneteenth,
did.
But we added,
Which one y'all had last year?
Juneteenth.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I wasn't here last year.
no. But, I voted against it last year, and I'm a vote against it this year, but I'm a propose an amendment that we delete December 24th, Christmas Eve.
What?
Yeah, I have a question.
Well, I'll delete anyone. I mean, I picked one because,
I have a question in regard to that. What is our cost for a holiday
Well, you gotta pay the
to,
police and fire.
to the city?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to calculate that.
Can we get
Yeah.
that calculated number? Because, I mean, it entails the fire department, the police department, and city hall, right?
Yep.
so.
And
so
maintenance.
My
Just if I
appreciation,
can,
Only fire
before,
departments, that's it.
on the ordinance, it's the same schedule last year. The only change, there is one change, is Juneteenth was moved from Juneteenth to where the state celebrates it as the third Saturday of the month. So whereas Juneteenth is actually June 19th, the state celebrates it as the third Saturday of the month. We follow the same, which is actually celebrated on a Friday, right? So that's the
I
only.
understand,
And
but,
look, I'm not tied to any holidays. It's-
well, I understand, I just think that there needs to be a serious consideration about the cost
Oh, sure.
for our budgetary
I agree.
means.
well, it adds a day of overtime.
Right.
Across the entire, for every employee in the police department
And fire.
and the
And
fire
fire.
department. I think it effectively adds a day of overtime pay. But again, this is just me. I thought 13 holidays was really sweet. I don't know how many citizens, if any, have 13 paid holidays. 14, when we did it last year, just seemed excessive, and it seems excessive today. So, and there is a cost. We haven't addressed the cost at all. We haven't amended the budget. We didn't
think-
do it last year.
So you have an amendment, or?
Do you want to amend it and
Yeah, I proposed, I'd like to amend it, and the way to amend it in my mind is delete one day. I don't have a preference on which day to delete. If it's my amendment, I'll just delete Christmas Eve and leave Christmas Day. The day after Thanksgiving, that's a fairly traditional 4-day holiday.
I will say that this, the other change that this one makes is, in the handbook, it's required that, so you'll see the language in there, that it supersedes 1361. So the handbook, when we added Juneteenth, actually brought it to 15 days. We eliminated New Year's Eve already to keep it at 14.
But we were at 13, how did we get to 15?
They get their birthday off, don't they, man?
Yeah,
Well,
there's some
Yeah.
floating birthday holiday that
Okay.
they get.
But that's
But that,
individual,
that's
not-
separate,
yeah.
that's a separate.
Yeah, there was some other, but New Year's Eve was eliminated already.
But so what, yeah, New Year's Eve was eliminated, but we're still at 14 on this list.
Yes, but we were at 15 in the handbook. If you look at the handbook, the original employee handbook, and you add Juneteenth to it, you come down with 15.
Okay, so what's not correct? This should be 15?
No, this should be 14.
Then the handbook should be 14.
This supersedes the handbook. That's why we added
Right,
that language to
correct,
it.
thank you.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I'm gonna make a proposal to amend this, and if anybody has, before I even do it, if anybody, I don't know if it's gonna pass, but I'm gonna propose that we eliminate Christmas Eve, only because I don't know which other holidays people would prefer.
Why would we not just
I wouldn't
not
do it
approve
Christmas Eve.
Juneteenth?
I'd take Juneteenth when it was out.
Well, we've got,
Kind of, I don't
we've
think
got Veterans Day as a holiday.
Oh, federal holiday.
Juneteenth, I don't. Jason, Juneteenth a federal holiday?
It is, and a state holiday. and a-
What is Lundi Gras President, oh, that's President's Day, okay. You know, I'd eliminate Lundi Gras President's Day. It's a federal holiday. It's not a big local holiday, and.
Is Juneteenth a federal holiday?
No. Lundi Gras President's Day. Yeah, Juneteenth, I think is federal, but it's state. It's a state holiday. I don't know if we have to take that off, but I don't want to create,
President's Day is also a federal holiday.
Yeah, I was gonna say, President's Day, federal holiday. So what is not a federal holiday?
These are all federal
well,
holidays.
so what? When we don't take federal holidays.
The day after Thanksgiving is a federal holiday?
Yes.
Yeah, that's tradition, that everybody,
I was just
even
curious.
Yeah, that's a 4-day.
regular businesses close the
fairly
day after
traditional.
Thanksgiving.
Well,
And most companies in this area.
yeah, in my business, I'm just speaking as a business owner, is that we pay Thanksgiving Day, but we do not pay for the day after Thanksgiving. You have it off, but it's not a paid holiday.
Well, everybody, I know the parish pays the day after Thanksgiving, they close.
Well, our budget is not Jefferson
Yeah,
Parish's
but
budget either.
businesses, every business I've worked, janitorial business I'm in, they close the day after Thanksgiving.
Do you get paid for it?
Yes.
But
Yeah, I will pay my guys for that too.
the trick is, the big question is.
I do work
in
Martin Luther
business,
King Day, I
Paul,
do work
in the business
Juneteenth.
you're in, and Mike and Eric, y'all have active businesses that y'all have an interest in. How many paid holidays do you have?
I have all of these except for Martin Luther King Day and Juneteenth.
Don't
So
have
you
President's
you
Day.
have Lundi Gras President's Day off?
Don't have President's Day.
I can tell you.
We take off the Monday before Mardi Gras every year.
Most companies in New Orleans, and this goes for federal and national companies, federal holiday, they give people Mardi Gras off and they waive President's Day. Because Mardi Gras is a very specific holiday to our immediate area.
I ain't taking Easter, Christmas Eve away from these people. They
Okay.
go shopping.
All right,
They get
then-
prepared
then
for
I-
Christmas Eve night.
Okay, then I propose that we amend 2023-28 by deleting the holiday of February 12th, Monday, Lundi Gras President's Day.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Buddy to amend proposed ordinance number 2023-28, removing one holiday, which is February 12th, Lundi Gras, or President's Day. We'll now open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on the motion? No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. All in favor?
Nay.
Yay.
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 Paul?
Nay.
All right, so we got 3 yeas, 2 nays, motion passes. Madam Clerk will.
Passed as amended.
Passed as a.
No, the amendment.
The
Amendment.
amendment
That's
passes.
the
I'm sorry.
amendment.
Yeah, the amendment passes, so Lundi Gras, President's Day will be removed from the holiday schedule? Okay.
Councilman Ricks, you were discussing what it cost. Is this something you want to defer till we get the cost on it?
I would like to.
Okay.
Well,
think-
they already voted.
Look, I don't want to take anything
Oh, we
from
voted
anybody,
on
but I
it. You
think,
can still defer it.
I think we need the cost of what it's going to cost the city
I agree.
entirety.
So we voted on amendment. If you want to make a motion to defer it, you can.
I would like to make the motion to
so
defer
we
until we
have a
have the
motion.
physical cost.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Ricks to defer proposed ordinance number 2023-38 will now for public hearing. No one,
Wait, I have a clarification, and I'm not opposed to deferring it, but what are we deferring, the amended?
The amended version.
The
yeah.
amended
Okay,
version.
so
Amended
we've
version.
amended it, and now we're deferring it, and of course, the council can amend it.
Could
again.
further amend it. yeah.
Amend the amendment.
correct.
Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
So we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Ricks to defer proposed ordinance number 2023-28 as amended. We'll open for anyone wanting to come speak on it. No one wanting to come speak. We'll now close public discussion. All right, all in favor to
Defer?
to defer proposed ordinance number 2023-28 as amended?
Yay.
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Can I make a motion to take a recess so we try to get that?
And we have a motion by
Video working?
Councilman Chatelain, second by Councilman Ricks to take a recess so we can get this video working.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting back to order. It is 7:16. Madam Clerk, proposed ordinance number 2023-29.
The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and second by Councilman
Ricks, one second, go ahead.
Ricks. An ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of Harahan to implement and execute a new 457B retirement plan effective January 1st, 2024.
Okay, we're now open for public hearing. Anyone want to come speak on proposed ordinance number 2023-29? No one coming forward. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion.
Thank you, Mayor. This is an ordinance that allows the mayor to enter in an agreement to provide city employees that are not civil service, non-civil servant city employees with an optional retirement plan. There was a proposal brought to us before to go through the municipal retirement fund, and that was a mandatory, and none of us, or a lot of us, didn't feel comfortable requiring employees to enter a retirement system if they didn't want to. This provides the flexibility of allowing some to join and some not to join. What it would cost is on the third page there. Those are all the current salaries of the city employees and what it would cost at a 2%, 4%, and 6% match. The council would have to set the match that they would want to go by. At the end of the day, or at the end of this, I would like to defer this to the budget hearing meeting, but I'm happy to discuss it going forward. And to be honest with you, I don't know a lot about it other than I asked them to put together the cost of it, and this is what it came out to be.
So, well, two things. I too think we should defer it because a quick glance at our budget is we've overspent our budget for 2023, and we're looking to bump that overspent budget that we would amend to that overspent number by another,
20 to 60,000.
I'm not sure what the number is here. I don't.
Right here.
24 original, variance 278,000 is the 24 budget over what the proposed amended 23 budget is.
Work we're doing, the budget?
And I don't know the balances. Anyway, yeah, I think we need to defer, but Councilman Asbill, you might be able to answer this question. This company, Stokes, is that somebody that you reached out to, the mayor reached out to?
No, the mayor reached out to him, or somebody, that might have been even,
Samantha.
might have been even
The HR
Samantha,
director.
HR.
The HR director reached out.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The HR director found it.
Okay, I'm going to put to you that it's rather small group, but we might be able to do better than these costs to the city. And on top of this, oftentimes, the funds have a cost too. So this would be what the city is paying. The funds are going to be charging the employees more than likely.
Yeah, so that's outlined on there. You see that it's next to the table there, it should say employer versus employee.
Yeah, but
Those are the costs of
I'm
it.
telling you that, I don't know what they're investing in. Oftentimes, the fund that the employee puts his money into, the whatever stock fund, or a bond fund, or whatever else, oftentimes they have fees too. So you have to ask that question. What additional fees are on there in addition to this? But
Well,
if we're gonna-
that would be discussions with my company. Those are discussions had between the financial planner and the employee. That's not something the city would get into.
No, well, it's just, there are more costs, is all I'm saying. I believe there's more cost. But I'm happy to defer it, but as this ordinance is written, it's vague as to what the council's approving. Are we approving a 2% match or a 4% match?
That wasn't included because I didn't know the council's preference, but we'll certainly amend it to
Yeah.
state that.
I mean, I think that should be decided. It needs to be in an order, you could say in an ordinance to be considered in the future. But, yeah,
And-
I would like the city to look into alternative quotations, because I do believe we can do a little better than these costs.
Well, and the other side of that is how many people are going to participate.
Well, this is free money.
So last time when we talked about this, that was the problem. It would force everyone to participate, and I'd say 60% of the employees said they couldn't afford to participate.
Right, that's what I'm saying. How much participation are we actually going to do? We already, we're very limited on our budget, and then we're going to offer something that,
We need to figure out how we're gonna make the budget work to have this happen. That's how you're gonna keep good employees.
I get it. But we still need the money.
Yeah, so,
Understand?
then, and I think we should defer it also.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill, second by Councilman Buddy to defer proposed ordinance number 2023-29. Will open for public hearing. No one coming forth. All in favor on deferring proposed ordinance number 2023-29?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, proposed ordinance number 2023-29 is deferred.
The proposed ordinance number 2023-30. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill and second by Councilman
I'll second it.
Buddy.
Yes.
An ordinance establishing the type of mail delivery service for the new residential structures within the city of Harahan.
Okay, we're now open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on proposed ordinance number 2023-30? When you come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, I'm Dr. Foster Wade with 146 Colonial Club Drive. First off, I'd like to say that I very strongly support this ordinance, but I would ask the council to consider a amendment to section 1 that after, in the first line, and established, to add in residential districts, and then in the second line, existing residential district homes. This would clarify that this only applies to residential and not places like the Blake or anything that's commercial.
What was that second amendment?
Second one is after the word, on the second line, after existing, it's in residential district
Okay.
before
We're in
homes.
section 1 still?
Yes.
Yes.
It's just the second line of section
Okay,
1.
after existing,
Yes.
Existing
In-
residential
In residential district
district.
homes.
So the new section will read, new homes built or established in residential districts within 750 feet of existing homes in residential districts shall receive the same type of mail delivery service as the older existing homes unless otherwise approved by the council.
You good with that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, no one else coming. We'll now close public hearing. Councilman Asbill, would you like to amend proposed ordinance number 2023-30?
Yeah, I'll move to amend section 1 of the ordinance to read, new homes built or established in residential districts within 750 feet of existing homes in residential districts shall receive the same type of mail delivery service as the older existing home unless otherwise approved by the council.
All right, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Asbill to amend 2023-30 as stated. We'll now for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Can I get a second on that amendment?
Second.
Second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor on the amendment?
Yay.
yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Quick discussion for those who are unaware of what this is. There's been some dispute with the Postal Service with new homes on Colonial. They want to put a cluster box rather than individual mailboxes. Right now, they're not delivering to individual mailboxes, or they are at some houses, but not at some houses. So they want to put a cluster box, which there's really no safe place to put that on Colonial Club Drive.
Absolutely
For
not.
residents to go get their mail, and it's also, that's not who we are as a city. We're not going to
It's
make our
very
residents.
inconvenient for the residents.
It is very inconvenient.
So we're hoping that this ordinance requires the post office to follow the local ordinance, which,
And also, I would like to, while we're addressing this whole situation on OK Avenue, where a new home has to put its box across the street, absolutely makes no sense to me either.
right.
No.
Well, yeah, and all of OK is on the Colonial, all the boxes are on the Colonial Club side of OK, as I understand it.
Correct.
So it's easy for the mailman. Now, whoever came up with that plan, but the mailman just goes down the street one way and puts the mail there. And I don't know, I think that may be the only street in Harahan that we do that on, I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
sure.
absolutely kind of ludicrous that it's one street that gets selected to do that whole thing.
Okay, so we have proposed ordinance number 2023-30 as amended. Anyone want to discuss? Well, now for public hearing, no one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. All right, all in favor on proposed 2023-30 as amended?
Yay.
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk.
I want to tell,
Ordinance.
just real quick, I'm sorry, tell Dr. Wade, thank
2023-30.
you.
Oh.
Dr. Wade, thank you for fighting a good fight with the Postal Service. I know they're not easy to deal with, and we appreciate you working for the residents over there. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, if we might follow up on Councilman Rick's comment or question, because I have the same one. I learned something by reading this ordinance. Apparently, the city tells the post office what the plan is. Is that correct?
Well, it's,
That's what
it's
we
in,
thought.
it's in their regulations that they're supposed to follow local ordinances. Now, you know how bureaucrats are.
Right, yeah, they're difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
So when we get to OK Avenue, the situation Councilman Ricks is talking about is there's a new home on the New Orleans side of OK that put a box up in front of their house, wasn't getting their mail, so they had to move it across the street.
Right.
It was just sort of dictated by the whim of the Postal Service. I don't know that we have an ordinance stating which side of the street mailboxes need to be
I
on.
think we should write an ordinance for OK and demand that service be required.
This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I
Because
think,
you weren't at the last council meeting?
I heard about it
Yeah.
through a neighbor, so I'm sure Mike has heard about it since it's his
Yeah.
neighbor's, effectively his backyard.
I mean, I think not only that, it creates a public hazard for people to have to go across the street to retain that mail.
May I say one thing? I understand what you're saying. That person built a house on OK, but all those houses on OK, it must be 20 or 30 houses. They all go across the street. They've been doing that for 50 years or 40 years. Now you want to make them build a mailbox in front of their house across the street? You're
I'm
gonna-
not-
For
I'm
one
not-
person, you're going to
I'm
kick
not
off a whole
saying
bunch of
that.
people?
I'm saying that
Well, that's
if
what it
if they're
sounds like.
fine with it, that's fine. But if they're not fine with it, I think they should have the option to have mailbox in front of
Rick
the
wants
house.
to give them the option of what
So
side of the
they
street.
basically had one house where they had an empty lot. They built a new house.
Right.
They put a mailbox in their front yard,
I know.
and the post office wouldn't deliver
Wouldn't
to
deliver
it.
their mail.
They put the mailbox across the street, the neighbor went ballistic.
I understand that, but the neighbors got to realize that that's where all the mailboxes are at.
Well, the
on
neighbor went
OK Avenue.
ballistic because they put it in the middle of their yard as
Understand.
opposed to next to the other mailbox, which would, as I understand it, because I've talked to the neighbor who went ballistic, they didn't put, all those houses have both mailboxes together. Mine and yours across the street are side by side. So
Well, yeah, I
the
get
new
it.
house put one in the middle of somebody's front yard.
I understand all
So
sides
was-
of
The
it.
question
I
was.
think they should have the option.
But yeah,
It's gonna
and
be
look-
hard, it's gonna be hard to get the post office to deliver some houses on one side of the street, some houses on the other side of the street.
Well, we're not here for the post office. We're here for the citizens. So,
You
I
can make
mean,
all those people move their, you give them the option, move their mailbox.
yeah,
Or leave it where it's at.
well, you can do either one. It's
Well,
up to
what
you.
I think, my personal
They
opinion, I've been
sort
saying this
that
for
mail-
years.
They sort that mail before they leave the office, before they leave the post office. And if they're gonna go down the even side of the street, they sort that, and then they gotta sort for the odd side of the street. So what we'll be having them do is figure
I don't
out.
work at the post office, I don't know how they do it, but if my grandma was living on OK, I'd like her to have the option to walk to the front instead of crossing the street.
Exactly.
It's just my thought.
Exactly.
Let me say this, I know everybody gets the mail every 4 or 5 days. I got my mail last Thursday, I finally got the mail yesterday.
Yeah.
Last Thursday, I know we had a holiday, and what's going on is the new generation, they're not like the old generation in my days, and my friend here Tommy's days. The new generation, they don't want to work, they don't want to walk, they're lazy, excuse me, I'm sorry. These young kids, I think they'll let us put the mailbox in front of the house instead of on the house, and let them drive in the car and put the mail in the mailbox. I think we get our mail every day then. I get my mail 3 and 4 times, every 3 and 4 days, I get my mail. I'm telling you the truth.
Parks in front of
I
the
got
house?
my mail, I know, I got my mail last Thursday, and I got mail yesterday. That was almost a week.
Paul, my mailbox.
I
is on the
understand that.
street.
I understand
Somebody
that.
parks in front of the mailbox,
I understand that.
the mailman drives right by.
I know that, I understand that.
Okay, y'all ready to get back to the agenda?
Yes.
All
Get
right.
back to Harahan.
Madam Clerk.
Ordinances,
Issue with Mr. Paul.
Well, I'm not saying all, I'm not saying all.
Sounded like.
You got a
I'm not
relative?
talking about-
You got a relative work for the post office?
Yes, I do. I do, my daughter. My daughter, but she's 42,
Madam Clerk.
44 years old.
ordinances for introduction. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill. Proposed ordinance number 2023-31, an ordinance amending ordinance number 1959, the annual budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023, for the city of Harahan, Louisiana. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Chatelain. Proposed ordinance number 2023-32. An ordinance adopting the annual budget of revenue and expenditures for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, for the city of Harahan, Louisiana. The following ordinance was proposed by Councilman Asbill. Proposed ordinance number 2023-33. An ordinance amending the Harahan Code of Ordinance, Chapter 10, relative to the enforcement, authority, and abatement of nuisances created by animals.
Okay.
Old business number 1, Board of Adjustment dismissal and appointments.
I don't know of any people, so Councilman Asbill is going to make a motion to defer.
Let me make a comment. It's nothing to take action on tonight. We have a member of the Planning and Zoning Board that's interested in possibly serving on the Appeals Board. We have seemed to have better luck filling openings on the Planning and Zoning Board in the past, so it might be a good idea. I suggested that the gentleman, and his name's Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, I suggested that he talk to Paul Jouet, because he was asking me questions about the appeals board. And I said, I think you need to talk to somebody that's been on it for years. So he and Paul have been in touch, but Paul was real busy. So hopefully by the next council meeting, we'll know if he's willing to go to the appeals board, and we can put his name up for the appeals board and try to fill a position on planning and zoning. We've had better luck with that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Asbill to defer. We'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on old business number 1? No one coming forward. Can I have a second on the deferral? Second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Old
business
business
ones.
number 2, bird nuisance complaint.
Okay. We'll now open for public hearing. Anyone want to come forth to speak on bird nuisance complaint? Okay. So we'll close public hearing. Council discussion?
Hold on, Tim.
Oh.
I'm Andrew Wilson. I'm an attorney representing the Stams, who are the respondents on the complaint. When last we spoke, went through our entire case, and some of you weren't here, but we have a rather detailed record showing that the birds, these purple martins, are a subject of beauty, one of the most appreciated songbirds in the entire country. These birds are rapidly decreasing in population. The Stams have probably one of the last colonies, because these birds are just being run out of the whole area, particularly in Harahan. They're one of the last colonies in Harahan. The birds can't survive without structures. They are totally dependent, they're codependent on humans, because over time, even back to the Native American populations, these birds were always nurtured with homes for them to nest in because they're beneficial. They eat termites, they eat flying ants, they eat mosquitoes, and they're fun to watch. A lot of the neighbors of the Stams enjoy them. Harahan's supposed to be a bird sanctuary city, and it's ironic that the effort here is to kick the birds out of Harahan. It makes no sense. These birds right now, if you reduce the number of structures they have, that'll reduce the population. And the population can only defend itself from predators like hawks if there are a number of them. If you reduce the population, it's basically a death sentence. Also, if you reduce the number of structures, these are repeat nesters. When they come back, they have nowhere to go, so they'll die. So it's another death sentence. So reducing the number of structures is not a solution. And in talking this particular subject up with a lot of people in the Audubon bird community, and I'm on the board of the Orleans Audubon Society, a lot of the people said, why don't you get the neighbors, the rest of the neighbors, to all put up these structures? And a lot of the next door postings said the same thing, that a lot of people love these birds. And I don't understand how a period of maybe 1 month where there may be some bird droppings, and none of the bird dropping evidence that was presented was ever established as conclusively coming from the purple martins. What the STAMs established was that there are bird droppings that have appeared long after the purple martins have gone. So there's no causal case here. The only jurisprudence on this shows that birds such as the purple martins, that is purple martins specifically, are not a nuisance as a matter of law. So the magistrate's finding is incorrect. And we have the jurisprudence, and we cited it, and we provided that to the council in the form of formal pleadings. In addition, the code, that is the Louisiana Civil Code, has vicinage articles which deal with the obligations owed between neighbors. That's Code Articles 667 through 669. Those code articles show that a mere inconvenience must be tolerated, and that's all these birds could possibly be considered, is a mere inconvenience. In addition, we had the affidavit of a vet who he's an avian vet, all he treats is birds, and he showed that there is no disease or health issue with these birds. So there's no reason to get rid of the birds. So we had provided a proposed, at the request of Councilman Buddy, you'd asked that we look into compromises, and so we did that. And what the stands proposed was that they would go ahead and give free car wash certificates at the local Harahan Waterworks for 2 months so they could wash their cars if it's that big a deal. And they also offered to have a professional pressure washer come twice per month in May and June when the fledglings, the baby birds, start flying. That's when you only have the large numbers of birds at that time. So they offered to do this as a compromise. I think that's overly fair and overly reasonable. And I provided, because this matter is before the council, it's not something that can be just resolved between the parties. I provided a copy of that proposed settlement to the entire council and to the mayor. So you all have all that information. These are the different residences that are involved. These are the complainants' residences. These list their vehicles and copy. If you want to distribute those. And essentially, these services would solve the only actual problem, which is the droppings. There is no health hazard, so they can't be a nuisance as a matter of law.
Well, there is a health hazard
No.
from the, you're trying to tell me that bird droppings are healthy and we should eat them with our cereal?
Do you do that?
No.
No, that's impossible. People don't do that.
Well,
You'd have to eat it with your cereal for it to be a health hazard. That's correct. So
if
it's not a health hazard.
Furniture that people touch and everything?
No.
It's not a health hazard?
No. We have the avian vet, an expert, who testified through his affidavit to that effect. In addition, we had Eric Johnson, who's one of the best bird experts in the entire region, say the same thing. He studies purple martin excrement. It's a narrow calling, but that's what he does. And he never gets sick. He's been dealing with bird droppings for 20 years, other species as well. Never had an illness. It's not a respiratory problem for purple martins. So it's not an issue. So you don't have a nuisance.
I do have one question, and I appreciate the settlement proposal that you presented. I was thinking settlement proposal between the neighbors. This appears to be, and I read it briefly this afternoon, I have to go through it again in more detail. This appears to be a settlement proposal between the owners of the Gourds and the city.
No. No.
Is the claimant okay with this?
I don't know. He's been presented with it previously. I copied him on the settlement offer, and then this is the details. These are the 4 residences that are involved. These are the cars at those 4 residences. So those are the
I
details.
appreciate that, but so we don't know yet if the claimant thinks this is an
Right.
acceptable compromise to the claimant.
Right, but because this matter is before the council, it's a 3-way deal. We have to have everybody agree because you have to drop the actual complaint before we can have a settlement. So that it's a 3-way deal. That's why I sent the thing to all of you, so that you have all the details.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's your understanding, though, if this were accepted by the city, by the council,
Well,
that it would be a 3-way settlement? The
well,
claimant,
the plaintiff, the complainant has to accept it. If the complainant accepts it, they would drop the
Correct.
actual charge,
And
the actual
everything
complaint.
good.
And then everything's good. And
Right.
then you would sign off on it, that would go into the record.
Okay, so it would be a settlement in effect, though, where the parties, the complainant and the Gourd owners are
Right.
all in agreement.
Right, has to be.
And, yeah, that's great. I wasn't sure if that was contemplated, but
So-
thank you
Right.
for the clarification.
Right.
What the settlement doesn't contemplate is that, let's say, 7309 Windsor comes back in June and makes a complaint because they've got bird droppings.
Well, those are the people that like them.
Okay, any other address of the people that don't like them, they come back and complain, and they might like them right now,
The Stams have already polled the entire neighborhood. They've talked to everybody.
sir?
These are the only people that complain.
Okay, but you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Okay.
They agree to settlement, city agrees to the settlement, somebody decides they don't like the birds, now we're back in with another complaint. Because people change their mind, right? Yeah,
There
so
are-
people change their mind. Now we're back with another complaint. We'd almost have to, I can talk to Mr. Buddy, I compared it to like a tobacco settlement. We almost have to do this like a tobacco settlement where we get extra money for those who make complaints in the future.
Well, this is,
And I'm not proposing that we do that. What I'm proposing to the council that we do at the end of the day, we're happy to discuss it much further, but we've got a recommendation from a great attorney as the hearing officer. We've since changed the law in the municipal code to put this in the mayor's court where it rightly belongs. My position is that we take this off the council's agenda, put it in the mayor's court where it belongs, let that magistrate make a decision, and at that point, if there's any appeal that wants to go up, because this is a legal question. I don't know if you've had a chance to look through all the documents. There are legal questions in here that I don't think any of us are qualified to judge. And I would say we put it with the magistrate, and if they've got an issue with the magistrate's decision, they bring it to the 24th Environmental Court.
Can I ask
But,
you?
and I agree with that wholeheartedly, but if there's a settlement to be had, if the claimant.
But the
and-
settlement doesn't solve the problem.
No, but I mean, you're a practicing attorney. People get sued, and before they appear in court, they settle. So I don't know why we would necessarily have to go to the magistrate for an opinion. If the parties can settle, then,
Well, the issue's not between the parties, the issue's between the city of Harahan and the Stams.
Well, here's what I was getting ready to say. So if both parties are willing to work this out right now, I mean, why wouldn't we just hear what they had to say and then make a decision based on that? And if this does come to,
Well, then that's the mayor's decision to pull the citation back,
right,
or to dismiss it, or whatever it might
so
be.
it could be,
so let's,
quote,
all I'm
settled,
saying is,
resolved before it went to the magistrate.
if the plaintiff withdraws the complaint, that ends everything.
Yeah.
is the plaintiff here tonight?
The complaint's been filed. The complaint is the
They
city.
can always withdraw the complaint. You can always dismiss.
They can withdraw their complaint, sure.
That's what I'm saying.
But the city doesn't have to dismiss the complaint.
Well, I don't see
And
why we.
that's not the
why we
council's
wouldn't.
decision.
I don't know why we wouldn't. I mean, we're not here to make enemies, we're here to make neighbors. I don't understand why we would try to do that.
That's not, I don't think that's in our purview to make that decision.
I
I
think
think
it
that's
would
the
be the
mayor's
mayor's court.
decision. I think that's the mayor's court decision.
I understand, but if we have two people here trying to make a settlement amongst themselves right now to make this go away
This
temporarily.
gives them more time. Kick it to the mayor's court, it gives them more time.
Well, we did discuss that the claimant was made, the claim was made, the complaint was made under the old law. So I believe if we chose to resolve this matter as the council, I think we could.
I-
You know,
Yeah.
we're changing the law after the fact.
I would, I agree with the hearing officers ruling that there was a complaint that never should have been in the on the council's agenda because it, I mean, at the end of the day, regulatory court and code enforcement is an administrative enforcement function. And to me, it steps on the mayor's toes and his court's toes on, because I think it makes it more appealable for the STAMs. If we make a decision, they're going to go appeal to somebody else that says, look, council can't hear this. You've now violated the mayor's prerogatives. You're on the mayor's territory. Get off the mayor's territory.
But if there's a settlement, nobody's going to.
I'm happy, if they want to settle and the mayor wants to dismiss it, that's their decision.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Kick it to the mayor.
So I'm fine with putting in the mayor's court where our legal counsel has said it belongs. It doesn't belong in front of the council. We all thought that was kind of odd. It was an ordinance. but it
And
was
that's why
odd.
we've changed the law since.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's been changed. But, so I guess if the parties can get together and Andrew, you can't represent both sides. Mr. Wilson, I'm sorry to call you Andrew. You can't represent both sides directly, but if the parties can get together and they'll withdraw the complaint under these terms between them, and you bring that to the mayor, I think, can't speak for the mayor, but if I were the mayor, it'd be a done deal. We've resolved.
Just out of curiosity, is the same magistrate the judge in the mayor's court as is the magistrate for this matter?
Mayor? I don't know the
Yes.
answer to that.
That's what I thought. So we're going to go back and he'll do the same thing again?
We're gonna go to the mayor's court, though, where he feels he would have jurisdiction. That's my understanding of reading Mr. Meek's quite detailed, well-written memo. So I think as I understood that,
So-
Mr. Meek's problem was he didn't think he had the authority in regulatory court. It was inappropriate to handle it, that it should be done in the mayor's court.
No, so the way this kind of came out was, there was the ordinance that said it's got to come to the council, right?
Right.
Mr. Meeks only wrote the opinion because we said, you have the hearing, let us know what your recommendations are. One of his recommendations was the council shouldn't hear this, it should be part of the mayor's court. Now, the regulatory court is a division of the mayor's court. So I would imagine it would either go back to Mr. Meeks or it would go to whoever the magistrate is. And then from there, it would be up to the parties to figure out if they're going to settle, if they're going to appeal decisions and all of that stuff. Yeah, so my motion is to remove this from the council agenda and send it to the mayors.
And Councilman Asbor, one just kind of point of clarification. So you think the regulatory court could resolve this?
Yes.
Because it's a subsidiary of
It-
mayor's court?
It falls within their jurisdiction, yes, as a
I
division.
thought, reading Mr. Meeks, that his opinion was it had to be, quote, "the mayor's court."
I think he's saying he had the wrong hat on.
I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. I'm sure you do.
The magistrate saying that he can't be the regulatory magistrate, he has to be the mayor's court magistrate.
Right.
So he had the wrong hat on when he wrote the decision. He's making a recommendation in accordance with the existing
Right.
council
So-
resolution.
He can't make the decision the way we sent it to him. We sent it to him as I come back to us with a recommendation. But if we send it back to him, he's having to make the decision.
Right, he would make the actual decision without an actual.
And he could also preside over a settlement should one come about.
Yeah, I would suggest y'all propose a settlement.
Definitely, that would be the best of all worlds.
So we don't make a recommendation on this to the
We
magistrate?
make a recommendation, send it to mayor's court.
We send it back to the mayor's
He
jurisdiction.
makes a motion, I'm a second.
I move to take this off the council agenda and send it back to the mayor's jurisdiction of the mayor's court.
I'll second that.
All right, so, well, let me close public hearing first.
Oh, that
Are
we
you
did
done?
that.
Y'all-
Yeah, that's.
Does anybody
thank
else
you.
want to?
Thank you.
Speak?
Thank you.
Good evening, Stephen Perrin. I live at 7301 Windsor Drive. I'm one of the complainants. First, let me apologize. We're not prepared for this. We received the email at the same time you did last night. Some of our neighbors are out of the country, some of those occupied. So we haven't had a chance to take a look at it. I see some areas that are fraught with difficulty in terms of how this exchange takes place, who's responsible for selecting vendors, how cash is exchanged. I think there are a number of issues that really boil down to one thing. And I only got up here to speak because we've been here for a while, because I think there were some mischaracterizations. None of the complainants want the birds out of Harahan. That has never been asserted in any part of our discussion. Just like any behavior is reasonable within bounds. Your children take music lessons at class, they practice in the garage at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Reasonable. Your kid starts a punk band and practices at 1 a.m. To the dismay of neighbors, not reasonable. The same context here applies. There's a reasonable number of bird habitats that can be put up in a residential area. We found this to be an excessive amount, causing an excessive amount of nuisance. We've been through the city adjudication in which the city found, yes, this requires adjudication. We see where this would be a nuisance. They appealed to the magistrate. The magistrate again found, we see where this could be a nuisance. In the discussions with the council, I believe, 2 meetings ago, there was a lot of agreement, we see where this is a nuisance. So I understand the desire to move this to the appropriate jurisdiction. There's some due process issues that have been brought up. I want to make sure we're clear on the motivation here of what we're all trying to accomplish. It's not to remove the birds from Harahan. In fact, I welcome the idea to distribute nests throughout the neighborhood if you've had so many residents interested in Harahan. Second issue is they allege that these birds will die if they're not preserved in these exact numbers. There are blue martin colonies, purple martin colonies throughout the state, and much smaller numbers that do just fine. These are all roadblocks to trying to come to grips with the fact that this is excessive behavior. It's not in the spirit of being good neighbors where we're going to tolerate some inconveniences and someone takes advantage of that to a point that I don't see the real benefit of this action other than the personal enjoyment of one family. And I don't see how that is significantly diminished to, in turn, ask that the others bear that responsibility. So in seeing this resolution being moved to the mayor's court, I know it's going to put you in a difficult position, and that's the opportunity in which these things may be decided differently in another election with another leadership. But we would ask that potentially this body, after hearing all this information, make a recommendation that they adopt the findings of that magistrate, which very clearly lays out the administrative challenges you've addressed, but also the fact that this is a nuisance issue, and it's not going to be easily overcome just by some car wash coupons. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll now close public hearing, and we have a motion on the floor. You want to go, all right, council discussion?
Now, I do want to address the actual complaint. Mr. Wilson, quite frankly, brought up a case that was jurisprudence that was from Florida, from a Florida circuit court, which a Louisiana district court would probably laugh out of the courtroom. Second, that case specifically only had 24 gourds, and the stamps, I believe, have 52. So just to say that it's an inconvenience, that may have been true, but inconveniences can rise to a nuisance, as Mr. Stephen was saying. I'm not going to make a recommendation on what should happen in the mayor's court, other than that it should go to mayor's court. But I do believe that to say that this is not, that to say blankly that it's not a nuisance is probably not true, that it can rise to the level of a nuisance. With that, I'll move my motion.
I'd like to comment too, and I'm certainly no expert, but I listened clearly to the presentations made, and they have a lot of established communities of birds with 15 and 20 and 24 gourds. And I don't understand why, if we do have neighbors in the area, and I have a couple of them, that are very appreciative of having these birds in our area. And I think it's fine, but I don't know why a plan, a compromise couldn't be to take some of the gourds and distribute them through Harahan. So the total number of bird population conceivably could even grow. It's just not as big of a concentration. And that was really the kind of, when I used the word compromise, that's what I was thinking. I haven't had any discussions with any of the parties directly involved in this dispute. So, and I hear tonight from Mr. Wilson that, you know, it's a death sentence. I don't understand that, because there are smaller communities that do quite well and thrive. In fact, this community started out small, as I understand it, and built up over the years. So moving some houses a block away, or 4 houses away, or it's just spreading it out, would diminish the amount of nuisance, maybe to the point to where it's very minor. And I would hope that that's a consideration in any ultimate settlement. But I'm also hearing that we really don't have the meeting of the minds for a settlement. This 3-way settlement, that one party's got a proposal, and the other party, not the city, the other party is not there yet. So, you know, I still think it'd be beneficial for you guys to sit down at the table and hammer something out before the magistrate and the mayor's court makes a decision, because that seems to be where it's heading.
The last thing I would add is, if there is some type of settlement between the Stams and the actual complainants in this complaint, what we've got to understand is it only dismisses it as to those complainants.
Yes.
If another neighbor comes and complains, this comes back up.
Correct. We're not changing the ordinance.
Right.
Okay. Councilman Asbell, will you repeat
So-
your motion?
Yeah, move to take old business number 2 off the council's agenda and place it on the mayor's court docket.
And I believe Councilman Chatelain second.
Yep, we have a second by Councilman Chatelain. We already had public hearing. All in favor?
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays. It'll be moved to mayor's court. Thank you.
Old business number 3, appoint city humane officer.
Okay, I think we're gonna, I'm gonna ask for a motion to defer new business number 3.
I move to defer. We've got an ordinance that changes everything, so I'll move to defer it until we,
I say we have a motion by Councilman Asbell.
Delete or defer?
move to defer until we consider the ordinance that changes the language.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilman Asbell to defer. We'll open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on new business number 3? No one coming forward. We're now closed public hearing. We have a motion by Councilman Asbell, second by Councilman Ricks. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
Old
New
business,
business number 3 has been deferred.
old business number 4, planning and zoning board appointment.
Okay, I don't know if we have any planning and zoning boards, so we have a motion by Councilman Ricks to defer. Old business number 4 will open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We have a second by Councilman Buddy. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. New business number 4 is deferred.
I do have a question regarding that. How many openings do we have on planning and zoning?
I believe we have 2 or 3 now.
Two, and if Dennis leaves, it'd be 3.
Yeah, and then Pat Peppo's also asking to be moved to appeals board as well.
So,
Pat wants to go to appeals court?
And we need
Appeals
members on
board.
appeals board bad.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, we have over the years had better luck with planning and zoning appointments. And Pat would make an excellent appeals board
And,
member.
and the good thing about the planning and zoning board is we've changed it to where it's a floating quorum, so,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, Madam Clerk, new business number 1?
New business number 1, Todd Turnion, Finance Director, monthly financials.
Good evening, council, mayor. The brief update from the finance team. We continue to work on the closeout of the books as of September 30 and October 31st in preparation for the year-end close. We've prepared an initial draft of the budget amendments for the year ended 2023 as well as 2024. And we continue to meet with FEMA. We had a positive discussion with FEMA again this week, again, just to make the citizens and the council aware that we meet regularly with them, continue to make progress, but we continue to kind of work through that process. So just wanted to let you know that there is regular communication between the city staff and the FEMA representatives on a number of projects, all the projects that the city's working on that are FEMA-related projects.
All right.
With that, I'll entertain any questions that the council members have or the mayor.
Quick question on the budget amendment for 2023. As I look at this, is that on here?
Yes.
And that would be columns I and J comparison?
It would be column H.
I see, okay.
Column H is the projections,
Which would be
a deficit, correct?
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Madam Clerk, new business number 3.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
We've got some variances here. I mean, I just saw this tonight. I didn't get the attachment from Kerry's email. I couldn't see it. Anyway, what we've done traditionally is had time to sit down and go with them and understand the variances and get a feel for whether they were recurring, so we could decide if the 2023, in this case, actuals, are the basis for going forward with 2024. We don't have that information. I've got no information on that. The second part of it is, there's a projection here, I think, an increase for 2024 over an amended 2023. Well, again, I believe that's it. I think it might be
Yep.
216,000
Correct.
with no discussion, no detail. And I'd like to see that. I don't know how to go about getting it.
Yeah, well, I think that's what the budget hearing would be for, when we schedule that special meeting.
But, I mean, is a presentation going to be made when we're going through it?
I would hope
Question
so.
and answer?
Yeah, I would hope so.
No, so, Mr. Buddy and any of the council members, we're available to meet at your convenience, so we can schedule meetings next week, or in advance of the budget hearing, we'd be happy to meet 2 at a time, review it in detail. There is a lot here. You know, just as we, in going through this process, the scope of the city has changed in the past several years. It's more complex, more involved today than it was 4 and 5 years ago. There's a substantial amount of grant activity, capital projects, as well as FEMA-related activity. So we'd be happy to meet with all of you 2 at a time and review it in detail, answer any questions you may have.
I think Mr. Buddy agrees that we're off a little bit from last 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Just because, just what you just said, things have changed. We got grant money coming in daily,
Yep.
FEMA money we're dealing with daily. So it's changing. That's why we don't have hard numbers in front of us. But in the same note, like you said, we need to sit down and know where we're at exactly and
Yeah.
know there's fluctuation that's coming and going.
Yeah,
at the same
I
time.
understand fluctuation.
We just need to be in a general area and know what the fluctuations can and can't be.
Yeah, we've got cost overruns in 2023.
Yep.
I'm sorry, we have expenses in excess of what was budgeted. And some of them were entirely necessary. They may or may not recur. Again, I don't have any details on it, zero information. So it's really hard to consider an amendment to 2023. And it's that much harder to consider increasing that amount by an amount of dollars for 2024 with no explanation of the increase. It may all be absolutely necessary and justified.
Sure.
It probably is.
And I think we'll,
So, but
Be
wait,
better?
let me finish up here. You know, we can all meet one at a time, 2 councilmen with you at a time.
Yep.
There's 3 meetings. We can go through here and ask 52 questions. And then we can go through the 24 budget and ask 52 questions. Or maybe if you could put together an analysis, sort of analyze significant changes, tell us what happened, we budgeted this is where the overrun is. So that's the amended amount for 2023. And then take and do the same routine one time on a spreadsheet, simple spreadsheet,
2024.
very simple explanations, and say, here's the line item in 23's amended budget, it's changing in 24's projected budget, and here's why it's changing. that would make it real easy for the council to get their arms around it real quick. It might save you
Yeah.
a lot of time.
Yeah,
You gotta,
we
you
can
gotta
do
write
that.
a little quick
We
memo.
can do that.
And I'm sure
Yep.
you know exactly what I'm talking about
Yep.
because you've done it your whole professional life.
Yep.
So,
No, that's good feedback. We can update this and, for the budget meeting to include that information and really include some of the feedback from the meetings that we have with each of you.
I mean, sales tax are up a lot too,
So
so we need to project that in there.
sales tax are up. We were somewhat cautious on the projections moving forward, just to be cautious, with some uncertainty. Certainly, the fire sales tax is still substantially more than we budgeted and substantially more than what was expected. The regular operating sales tax is slightly over budget. Not a ton, but it is over budget, yes.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Todd, as soon as you have something to sit down with, please let us know, and then we'll all get with you if we choose and
Yes, sir.
schedule something to meet. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Madam Clerk, new business number 3.
Dear Mayor Bodier, Lutheran High School's Gryphon Gala committee members respectfully request permission to sell wine at the annual Gryphon Gala auction. This year, the gala will be held at Faith Lutheran Gymnasium, 300 Colonial Club Drive, Harahan, Louisiana, 70123. The Gryphon Gala will be held on April 6, 2024, from 5 until 10. All proceeds from the gala will be used for helping offset the cost of tuition at the nonprofit Lutheran High School, located at 3864 17th Street in Metairie, Louisiana, 7002. We would love seeing you at the gala. Thanking you in advance, we remain sincerely yours, Percy Russo, Chairman of Lutheran High School, Gryphon Gala, 46 Committee.
Okay, we're now open for public hearing. Anyone want to speak on new business 2? No one coming forth. We'll close public hearing. Council discussion?
The normal questions we have is, do they have somebody with a liquor license that they're working with, and is the chief of police okay with it? So I don't know if we have an answer to those questions.
So I'm gonna think it's gonna be a nonprofit, so they normally get a liquor license approved through the state pretty easy. I'm just talking from previous experience. But in at the same note, yeah, I would request that they have a police detail like we normally do for any other function like this. I know it's in April,
Got time.
so we have time, we can discuss it at the next meeting, but I'm sure that's not
I'm willing
gonna be
to
a
approve it
problem.
tonight conditional if
With a
that
police
seems to be
detail.
appropriate.
I think we could approve it tonight, conditional, they need a police detail, correct?
So, and then help me out here, please, because I thought things like St. Rita required somebody's liquor license to sort of,
No, they have one through the nonprofit.
but as a nonprofit, you just get a one-time deal from the state?
They get it from the state. yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Chatelain to approve new business number 4 with the caveat of adding a police detail.
Yeah, because you know them Lutherans, when they start.
Yeah, Councilman Asbill is now talking about Lutherans,
I don't know
but,
about that.
okay, so all right, we have a second by Councilman Asbill. All in favor?
Wait, it's a police detail
See,
and
told you.
obtaining the appropriate state license.
Okay, obtaining the appropriate state
Liquor
license.
license, I guess it is, or.
Appropriate state liquor license, as Mr. Buddy stated. Conditional on that. We have a motion by Councilman Asbill, second
I'll
by
second the
Councilman Buddy.
amendment.
All in favor?
Yay?
5 yeas, 0 nays, with
Nope.
conditions.
New
Now
business
we need to
number,
vote on it. As amended? Oh, no.
No,
Sorry.
we just,
Yeah, we voted.
Okay.
Approved it with the.
new business number 4, Civil Service Board Appointment University Representative.
all right, did Kerry discuss that with you at all?
She said something about he was leaving. and
Yeah, she had the 2
somebody needed
letters
to
and-
come.
We've got, do we have 2 positions to
Are they
fill?
resigning, or the two we have?
No, it's just one. You have
Just
2 people
one.
wanting to fill the other one, and Miss Beach, oh, you have the letters there?
Yeah.
Who's resigning?
Paul Fiasconero, I know I didn't do well on that, and Diana Whitfield. I know Paul, I don't know Diana.
I
But
know
are we
Diana.
filling 2 positions, or they just gave us 2 names to
2 names to fill in 1 position.
pick one?
Okay. So I will
Who's
speak
leaving?
from experience.
Who's leaving?
Yeah,
Who's
do we
leaving?
know who's leaving?
I don't know. I don't
Is it
know offhand.
Dr. Brady?
But that's
or-
the university appointment?
It is.
Who did the university appoint? Who did they recommend?
They sent two
That was,
recommendations.
That's the two names the university
I
sent?
believe so.
Well,
So-
we appointed somebody, I think.
I thought
last
Dr.
meeting.
Landry was the,
Dr. Landry was reappointed.
Right, so Dr., yeah.
So I don't know what openings we
That's the
have. This
one-
may
yes,
already be
Landry is the
filled.
one leaving.
Yeah, Dr.
Dr.
Landry's the
Landry's
one.
leaving?
Yes.
Wait, he's leaving?
I thought he just
We just
accepted.
reappointed him. Well, we
That's
didn't
what
talk to
Kerry
him.
was talking about. I don't-
We, tell him he can't leave, we reappointed him.
All right,
I
so
think
I would,
that was the whole
if he's leaving, I'd accept his resignation. And I would talk about the civil service appointments now. I know Mr. Paul Fiasconero through the Domestic Hearing Officers Court in 24th JDC. He's a great, fair, stern hearing officer, and I think he'd be a great addition to the
I
civil
do
service
too.
board.
Now, the question
And I
is,
think Mr. Staners
is he
would probably agree with
volunteering? I mean,
me. He is now. He's voluntold.
he voluntold, okay? You're gonna tell him that he voluntold?
Did he put
I
his-
will.
did he
I'll
put
text
his
him.
name up? Who put his name
He's a
up?
great texter.
Loyola put his name up. I don't know where, I don't know how they came about these, Paul.
Carrie,
You saw this, didn't
of
you?
course, Carrie
Yeah,
works on the
right,
civil
yeah.
service
I don't
board,
know.
so. And I believe Mr. Paul is,
Because I know Diana very well.
I hate to
and,
defer it if we have a meeting coming up and they need somebody.
I have
I can call
no
Gary.
problem with either one of them, Diane or Paul.
I don't know.
yeah, I mean,
I don't know Paul.
I mean, I know Diana.
But I mean, I
don't-
think we need to see their letters, like qualifications to go
Yeah.
with this before I'd be looking to make.
you want to defer this until we can get Carrie back in here? And
Yeah.
I guess we need to do a couple of things. We need to clarify how many positions are open, assuming Dr. Landry has resigned. Is that,
I mean, the university would only have one appointment for their spot.
They-
no, we got a letter from a different university. We acted on a different university's recommendation, I think, a month or two ago. I can't remember exactly.
Who recommended Landry last time?
It was-
Thought it was
it-
Loyola.
Me too.
Was it Loyola?
Thought
I
it
thought it
was.
was Loyola.
Then I guess they know he's
They're
leaving.
making these because he's leaving, I'm assuming.
I talked to Darlene last
Shall
week.
we call a recess and call Miss Carrie and see what
Yeah, I'm
she-
checking her now.
Miss Carey.
Ms. Barber?
Carrie, Eustace.
Eustace.
Yeah, I know.
So she's the
I just-
secretary. Yeah.
Make a motion for a 5-minute recess.
Second.
All right, we got recess.
You want to,
So there is one open seat. Dr. Landry is resigning. Loyola University sent over 4 recommendations. It was narrowed down to 2 based on qualifications of living in the city for the past 7 years. And they called these people, they volunteered to serve. The next meeting for civil service is not until December 27th, which gives us time if we want to vet the candidates to do that. That's all I've got. I've got no, either way, whether we defer to vote on it tonight, I've got no opinion on that.
well, my thoughts are, we ought to take an opportunity to talk to both candidates and to make an informed decision between the two.
So we have a
Sounds
motion
like
by
a
Councilman
motion, I'll
Buddy to defer.
second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilman Buddy to defer civil board appointment, university representative, second by Councilman Aswell, open for public hearing. No one coming forth. All in favor to defer?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
I have one other question before we move on. Would anybody, by chance, do you think Carrie might have their phone numbers?
She does.
I have Mr. Paul's.
I have Diane, too.
Okay, well, I'll get it from, because we got to reach out to them.
Diane served on the athletic association with us for a long time, and I just know her from the kids growing up together and stuff.
I'm gonna send that right now.
All right, Madam Clerk, new business number 5.
High and low content ABO application for Fuji Ramen House LLC located at 1820 Dickory Avenue for Shenhang
Shinhang
Zhang.
Zhang. Shinhang Zhang. Okay, we'll open for public hearing. No one coming forth. We'll now close public hearing. Council discussion. Anybody want to discuss?
Well, the
It's
chief's
a-
not here
Yeah,
to say,
it's
did
the
the chief
same
do all
thing.
his homework on everything's good?
So I think we need to defer this till we hear something back from the state. There's a discrepancy in the application that we don't want to
The chief
rule on.
normally does, he notifies you to let you know
The
something's
chief,
wrong.
I spoke to the chief, and he said pending results on some stuff
Yeah,
coming
we'll
back.
just defer it.
So we need to make a deferral.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Johnson to defer new business number 5. We have a second by Councilman Chatterling. All in favor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 yeas, 0 nays.
But I am looking forward to a really good ramen house.
I know.
Yes.
I'm excited about that. I know, I'm
I
excited.
will be a customer.
Address the council.
Okay, if anyone would like to address the council, please come to the podium, state your name and address. No one coming forth will now close address the council. Secretary's report.
The secretary's report for October was not ready and will be presented at the special meeting.
We're sorry that it wasn't ready. Our secretary clerk has, she's not really not doing well right now, so please.
She's not doing that bad. She's just a little sick,
Yeah, I
guys.
don't know. Like, when I talked to her the other day, on the phone, holy look, she has literally.
She's not that bad, guys. I talked to her.
She got worse. She's getting worse, and it didn't sound real good, but
Tell her to stay home until she gets better.
that's
Yeah.
right, that's right.
Yeah,
All right, Madam Clerk reports.
she's not doing
Chief
that.
Laprie is absent. Chief St. Cyr is absent. Councilman Asbell.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Councilman Buddy.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Councilman Chatelain.
Happy Thanksgiving. That's it. I'm trying to figure out what I want to eat.
That's all you got, buddy, or are you going with something
That's
else?
it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Councilman Johnson.
That's all I have to say is happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Councilman Riggs.
Same thing, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, same from me. Happy Thanksgiving to all y'all. It's been an awesome year, and so we should be very thankful of the position that the city is in right now.
Text Mayor.
Madam Clerk, pay bills.
Bills paid for October 2023 will also be presented at the special meeting. Executive session, none.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Special meeting, did we say the date of the special meeting? I'm sorry.
I thought that was all set.
November 30th?
Wait, we didn't say it.
We didn't say it.
Okay, you want to say it?
Why would they
Yeah.
vote to adjourn yet?
Go ahead.
Well, I didn't hear him say anything. I might have went to the bed, I don't know.
No, I don't think we
November
said it.
30th, special meeting.
Wait,
Yeah.
let me see. Hopefully, I think I can
New
make it.
business number one or two?
No, we didn't do new business number 2, and that's where it was.
Oh, that's where it was. Okay, new business number 2,
That clerk.
Mr. Mayor.
Oh, did I skip it? I'm sorry.
We'll
Wait,
blame
hold
it
on.
We're not gonna blame it on Sheree, we're gonna blame it on the mayor.
Now, I stand corrected, I do have that date in there as a
Oh, but
tentative
you know,
date.
it was so close to new business number 1. I'm so sorry. Let's come back and do, we'll go back to new business number 2. We ain't amended the agenda. Look, we're just going back to new business number 2. Set a special time and meeting for the public hearing, for the budget public hearing. We all agreed on November 30th at 6 o'clock?
Yes,
All right, so we're gonna,
yes, sir.
November 30th at 6 o'clock, we're gonna waive notice.
Waive
All in-
notice, that is for the budget hearing and the ordinances regarding finances that we deferred.
All right, all in favor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay, 5 yeas, 0 nays. Madam Clerk, back to executive session. There's no executive session. We have a motion
Adjourn.
by Councilman Asbill to adjourn. We have a second by Councilman Johnson. All in favor?
Yay.
5 yeas, 0 nays. We are adjourned.